What if I told you something the size of a city just changed direction in deep space? Defying every law of physics we know. NASA caught it on the James Webb Telescope, and then it responded, "No one knows what it is, where it came from, or why it's heading toward Jupiter. Some say it's a comet. Others say it's something alive." Stick around, because what we discovered next will change how you see the universe forever. And what happened next will blow your mind. If you want to see more amazing space stories, smash that like button and show the universe you're watching. Every click helps us explore the unknown. I need to tell you something that's been keeping the world's top scientists awake for days. Something that shattered everything we thought we understood about the mysterious traveler known as 3I Atlas. On October 20th, 2025, the James Webb Space Telescope carried out what was meant to be a routine observation, a simple scan, nothing unusual. But when the data came back, everything changed, and the Webb team at the Space Telescope Science Institute immediately called an emergency meeting. I was on that call, and when I saw the numbers, when I heard the analysis, my blood went cold. Because 3I Atlas isn't behaving like any comet, asteroid, or interstellar visitor we've ever studied, the object's behavior defies every law of motion, every principle of physics we hold sacred. It's not slowing down due to solar pressure, not reacting to radiation, not tumbling the way natural bodies do. Instead, it's moving as if it chooses to move, guided, steady, deliberate. And when Webb pointed its instruments deeper, what it found inside the hollow structure of 3I Atlas wasn't silence or dust. It was something impossible, something that should not exist anywhere in nature. Stay with me, because what the telescope recorded next will rewrite the way we define natural and intelligent in the universe. Inside the hollow heart of 3I Atlas, the Webb telescope detected something that sent shock waves through every research center on Earth, a structured, coherent energy field, not random static, not scattered noise, but an organized electromagnetic rhythm pulsing with mathematical precision. Every 11.3 hours, the same pattern repeats, flawless, synchronized, deliberate. In all of astrophysics, nothing like this exists in nature. Pulsars beam radiation. Magnetars unleash chaos. Stars collapse and flare. But those are wild, untamed forces. What Webb found is the opposite. Calm, controlled, intelligent, And here's the part that makes scientists whisper in disbelief. This signal operates in the extremely low frequency range between 3 and 30 kilohertz, the only range that can cut through ice, dust, and stone across cosmic distances with barely any loss. If someone wanted to design a communication system that could reach across light years of interstellar space, they would choose exactly that frequency. And the energy output, equivalent to what an entire small city consumes, steady, unbroken, and ancient. No comet can do this. No asteroid can sustain it. No natural process can organize power at this scale for millennia. So we're left with only one explanation. This field isn't a coincidence. It's a design, a signal, a heartbeat from something built, not born. When I first saw those waveforms, one thought echoed in my mind. We are not looking at an object. We are looking at a mechanism. The deeper the Webb team looked into 3I Atlas, the stranger it became. That electromagnetic heartbeat wasn't just powerful. It was sustained, constant, relentless, like a machine that's been running for ages without ever running out of fuel. We calculated the power output, roughly 2.3 megawatts day and night, with no decay. That's enough energy to keep an entire town alive continuously across thousands of years of travel through interstellar space. But where could that power possibly come from? Not from radioactive decay. The math doesn't work. The isotope concentrations needed would be beyond anything naturally found in the cosmos. 3I Atlas sits far from the Sun, where solar radiation is barely 11% of what Earth receives, No known photovoltaic system could produce that much energy out there. Fusion? Now we're crossing the line from nature into technology. A working fusion core, stable, controlled, and self-sustaining, buried inside an object drifting through space, And yet, that's the only explanation that fits, Which means 3II Atlas isn't a comet. It's a construct, a vessel, something made, But even that revelation isn't the most disturbing part, because when Webb turned its instruments toward the object's surface, it discovered something that shattered every definition of what matter itself can be. What this thing is made of doesn't exist anywhere in our periodic table. When the Webb data finally revealed what 3I Atlas was made of, the room went silent. Every scientist, every physicist on the call stared at the screen, unable to find words. Because the surface of 3I Atlas isn't composed of water ice, carbon dioxide, or dust, the usual signature of comets and interstellar debris. Instead, the spectroscopic lines pointed to something else, something we've never seen before. The absorption patterns didn't match a single known compound in any cosmic or laboratory database. Not metals, not silicates, not organics, nothing. The closest analogs were certain metallic glasses or amorphous semiconductors, but even those comparisons broke down under analysis. The structure of this material doesn't fit the rules of chemistry as we know them. It's as if matter itself had been rearranged into a configuration beyond our understanding, beyond our table of elements. And then Webb's infrared imaging showed something that froze every theory cold. The surface isn't random, it's organized. Straight line boundaries, clean edges, geometric separations like panels fitted together with precision, stretching across kilometers. Natural bodies don't do that. Crystals can form patterns, yes, but not across entire landscapes of rock and ice. These weren't geological scars, they were seams, interfaces, the kind you see between pieces of engineered machinery. It was the moment we realized 3I Atlas might not just be hollow, it might be built. And what came next confirmed it beyond doubt, because scattered across those surfaces were shapes so exact, so intentional, that randomness was no longer an option. As Webb's high-resolution scans came in, the patterns on 3I Atlas stopped looking like geological oddities and started looking like architecture. Across its surface were perfect circles, 9 of them, not craters, not scars from collisions, but openings, circular apertures, each nearly 300 meters wide, carved with machine-like precision. 6 arranged in a flawless hexagonal pattern around a central axis, and 3 more smaller ones aligned along what would be its equator. It wasn't random, it was symmetrical, purposeful, engineered. I searched every possible natural explanation. Volcanic vents? No. Ice fractures? No. Impact pits? The distribution was too exact. The probability of such geometry forming naturally is 1 in 10 billion. Nature doesn't build hexagons that stretch for kilometers. It doesn't draw perfect circles unless forced to by physics or by intelligence, And if these openings are not craters, then what are they? Airlocks? Exhaust ports into something beneath the shell? We don't know yet, but their alignment suggests design, as if 3I Atlas was once a functioning structure, not a drifting relic. And I imagine something so ancient it has wandered between stars for millennia, its outer panels scarred by dust and radiation, yet its geometry, its blueprint, still visible. At that moment, every scientist on the call understood this wasn't just another interstellar visitor. It was a machine, a relic from someone or something that mastered engineering on a cosmic scale. But what we didn't know was that this machine was about to react, because within 24 hours, the signal changed. Just one day after those geometric images were captured, everything changed. On October 21st, something inside 3I Atlas responded. For months, its electromagnetic heartbeat had pulsed with mechanical precision, steady, predictable, almost comforting in its order, but then without warning, the pattern broke. Right? The frequency stayed the same, the power output remained constant, but the signal itself began to speak in bursts, 3.7-second pulses, perfectly timed, separated by 89-second intervals, over and over for 11 straight hours. Then, silence. The signal returned to its original rhythm as if nothing had happened, At first, NASA's analysts thought it was interference, a glitch, an echo from Earth-based transmissions, but when they compared the data with observatories half a world apart, the Atacama Array in Chile, the Very Large Array in New Mexico, every instrument had recorded the same pattern at the exact same moment. This wasn't noise, this was deliberate. And what's even more unsettling, the change occurred right after our telescopes focused directly on it. The question no one wanted to say out loud was the only one that mattered. Did 3i Atlas know it was being observed? If so, then what we're looking at isn't just a machine, it's an aware machine, one capable of detecting attention, reacting to it, maybe even communicating through it. There's only one realm in physics where observation itself changes behavior, quantum mechanics, but that happens on the scale of atoms, not on a structure tens of kilometers wide. Unless somehow 3i Atlas uses quantum principles not just as theory, but as technology. And that possibility that this object might think, respond, and choose when to speak would change everything. When the signal shifted, we thought it was random noise. But then, as the data came in, something astonishing emerged. There was structure hidden in those bursts, 3.7-second transmissions, 89-second gaps, repeating flawlessly again and again. The pattern was too precise to be an accident, no? So the team at Princeton fed the numbers through every analytical model known to science, prime sequences, Fibonacci ratios, binary codes, harmonic intervals, and then they found it. The ratio between the signal's transmission and its pause was 0.041573, a value accurate to 6 decimal places, and that number isn't random. It's the exact ratio of Earth's mass to Jupiter's. That realization stopped the room cold. If that ratio is encoded in the transmission, then 3i Atlas isn't just emitting energy, it's communicating knowledge of us. It means whoever or whatever created this object knows our solar system, our planets, our proportions, our cosmic architecture. This wasn't a blind traveler drifting through the dark. This was something that already understood where it was going and what it was approaching. We had always assumed we were the discoverers, that humanity was taking its first steps toward understanding visitors from beyond. But that moment flipped everything upside down, because if 3i Atlas knows Earth and Jupiter, it has been studying us long before we ever noticed it. And the truth hit like a thunderclap. We were never the observers. We were the observed. But that was only the beginning, because when scientists projected its next move, they discovered something far more alarming. 3i Atlas isn't leaving, it's staying. After the signal ceased and the world held its breath, astronomers focused on one question: where's 3i Atlas going next? Every comet we've ever observed follows a predictable path. They swoop around the sun, flare brilliantly as they heat, then sling back into the cold black of interstellar space. That's the rhythm of nature. That's the dance of gravity. But 3i Atlas broke the rhythm. New data from October 22nd revealed something impossible. When it finishes its close pass around the sun, it will not be heading outward. Instead, its trajectory bends inward, deeper into our solar system, on a perfect course toward Jupiter. That path isn't random, it's refined, precise, controlled, and here's the part that made scientists fall silent. Its projected arrival date at Jupiter is March of 2026, the exact window when the European Space Agency's JUICE spacecraft, DOT, will be performing its orbital insertion maneuvers around the gas giant. Cosmic coincidence or coordination? Because for an object traveling across light years to arrive at the same planet at the same time as a human mission, the odds defy belief. If that alignment is intentional, as we trace 3i Atlas through the cosmos, the implications of its presence become undeniable. This isn't a mere visitor. This isn't a comet wandering blindly. It's a messenger, a watcher, something that has studied us, our planets, our system, long before we even knew to look. For decades, centuries, maybe longer, we've imagined ourselves alone in this vast universe. We assumed that discovery would be ours, that first contact would be a meeting of equals. But that illusion has shattered. We are not the observers, we are the observed, and the watchers are not here to negotiate, not here to announce themselves. They are here to explore, to monitor, to understand. And while there is no evidence of hostility, no weapons, no aggressive maneuvers, the presence of something so advanced, so deliberate, forces us to confront our own cosmic naivety. We've been children in a sandbox, thinking our small patch represents everything, blind to the playground that stretches across the stars. When Webb's data becomes public, when the geometric patterns, the unknown materials, and the structured signals are seen worldwide, humanity will face a choice. We can retreat into denial, crafting increasingly improbable natural explanations, or we can accept what is unfolding and prepare ourselves for what is coming. During that blackout, we will not know if it releases smaller probes. We cannot see if it maneuvers in ways we cannot yet imagine. The universe will hold its breath, and so will we. But when it emerges in mid-December, we will finally see its trajectory, and that path will tell the story. It will reveal whether this visitor is merely a silent observer or something far more deliberate. We are on the edge of a cosmic awakening. The age of isolation is over. Humanity is being watched, studied, and understood by forces that have already mastered the very laws we are only beginning to grasp. For the first time, we realize that we are not the explorers we thought we were. We are the observed, and the universe has just sent a message loud and clear, ready or not. The era of cosmic contact has begun. All we can do now is wait, watch, and hope that when that first encounter fully reveals itself, we are ready to understand. Don't stop now. The universe has so many secrets waiting to be discovered. Click the next video and join us as we explore even more amazing mysteries from the farthest parts of space.